I'm in gorgeous Granada, and I wanted to create a quick video to help you think about what it might be like to be a digital nomad here versus other places in Andalusia. But before we get into that, I would be so thrilled if you would like, share, comment, follow my Instagram or my YouTube. Now, let's talk about an awesome city. Now, let's start with where to stay. Now, when I checked in with my Nomad traveling crew, shout out to Matt at the Maverick show. They were like, listen, the whole point is to be in Alhambra. Alhambra is the old city that overlooks the Alhambra behind me, which is literally the point of why people will come from miles and miles away to come to this gorgeous place. Alhambra is the old city. I'm going to show you behind it. It's an Instagram's dream as well. It's just so gorgeous, and these little windy streets they're so beautiful. You could take countless pictures here. So Alhambra for sure is the place to stay, except, and this is a very, very important except, if you're a digital nomad, you need high-speed Wi-Fi. Then you may want to consider being in the city, or alternatively, I'll put a link to an awesome co-working space of great people that you should consider. I ended up choosing La Variable both for the good reviews as well as the fact that it's one of few open 24 hours in this proximity to Alhambra. Now, the floor plan is an open floor plan, so that works for me, but it may not work for everyone. And it's not the largest co-working space I've seen. That said, super friendly, very bright, and fantastic internet speeds. So if this is something that will work for you, I definitely email them in advance and just work out checking out this space and seeing if it fits your needs. There's lots of great sites in Granada. There's a beautiful monastery. There's a couple of gorgeous homes and places that are rented out for weddings that date from the Renaissance period. But it's really that thing that you're trying to see. That thing is so unbelievable. It's several different palaces together and gardens that will just blow your mind given how old they are. They really do solidify anything that you've been trying to understand about Spanish culture and history. What is this thing with the Moors? How did that blend with Christianity? How does that speak to the architecture? You gotta go. A couple of things that you're gonna wanna note if you're going here in the time of COVID. Number one, mask wearing is definitely a thing, and it's hot here, so you're going to want to check out different types of masks that are comfortable on your face, because even in some of the garden areas, just because it does get a little bit more compact with people, they kind of want you wearing the mask, and they don't really want to ask you twice as far as that goes. So make sure you have a comfortable one, and if you get sweaty and you need to change, just bring more than one with you. The second thing to note is that, especially if English is your primary European language, not French and Spanish, then you will want to book in advance. You will want to either get your tickets online for just the audio guide and all that good stuff, or if you're going to use the guide, you need to book that in advance. There just aren't that many relative to the demand. Now, I ended up with a Spanish-speaking tour, which I loved. I thought she was wonderful and lovely. And the thing I noticed about the Spanish tours, even relative to, there were some French tours as well and German tours, is that the number of people that are in the Spanish tour groups are significantly smaller. And I can only imagine that's because there are a few more, given that we're in Spain, Spanish-speaking tour guides than other languages that come to this amazing location. Now, a couple of other just pointers that I would give you. If you're someone who gets thirsty easily, and you know who you are, okay? I would make sure that you either got water at the entrance or brought some with you. There are plenty of places to refill your water bottle within the Alhambra, but if you're walking along in the gardens in the middle of it, you don't necessarily want to exit that immediate area to go to the area where you could get concessions. The way that Alhambra, even though it's gigantic, is split up is that within Generalife, not General Life, Generalife, and the other palaces, there's this area outside, but you have to actually physically leave in order to go get water, whatever it is you might need. So definitely water, snacks, especially if you got kids, you want to have that backpack with what it is you need. The second thing for my Instagrammer buddies, that is like an endless sea of gorgeous pictures within it, because what was done to make it beautiful and remarkable has been done century after century after century. I mean, the Instagram eye is just going to go crazy. As such, it gets really hot. Like right now it's 3 p.m. We're not even in like the noon sunlight, and I am in a tank top standing in the shade so that I can do this video and not be sweating bullets. So realize that time might be very important to your classic Instagrammer. Now, the other thing I'd mention is that if you're in a tour group, then by definition, you're going to be surrounded by people. So for your classic photo taker du jour, you may actually prefer to just get regular tickets and walk through. Another thing you can do is that a lot of times the tours will end and then you can just continue and take pictures. So enjoy the tour, enjoy the amazing information that's provided. Certainly the history is nothing like, well, it's everything like, but just so much better than history class. But then go and take the pictures that'll make you happy and will give you all the memories and make your parents be like, oh, I'm so glad they're there. One other tip is that the Mirador of St. Nicholas, which has one of the best views of Alhambra, is packed to the gills 24/7. And because of the Sierra Nevada, you don't always get great sunrise or sunset pics. They can be beautiful. But if you really want this pic, you can literally go down the stairs just one rung and have a completely unobstructed view with no people around you. Additionally, you can get an Airbnb like I have and just walk it on upstairs and take your gorgeous pic and then go back down and snooze it off. For my foodie friends, I would say that Granada, even more so than Sevilla, follows siesta time, meaning, because of siesta, people are going to have desayuno, breakfast. That'll be available at a handful of places, right? Then you have a very late lunch that starts around 1. Like restaurants really are not open before 1 p.m. for lunch. And a lot of them are opening at 1:30. And then they close it down. And it will be without, only like grocery stores and a few kind of local places are from like 4 until 8 p.m. Now, the beautiful thing is if you fully engage in the Spanish culture of siesta, then you could take a nap and then get your stomach ready and go out at 8. And really, a lot of restaurants are open even till 3 a.m. in the morning. What I would say is because Granada is so popular, even among Spaniards, not even just the rest of the world coming in to see this gorgeousness, you might need to make a reservation if there's somewhere in particular that you're really stoked about. Now, restaurants surrounding the Alhambra, they definitely fill up quickly, so be prepared to wait a little bit in some cases if you don't have a reservation. I would also mention something that people don't realize, even though tapas definitely comes to mind when you're coming to Spain, as well as other various Spanish foods, that should remind you that there is a huge Arabic history, and the Old Quarter absolutely has deliciousness from all kinds of areas throughout Arabic countries that you should enjoy as well, especially if you're from a country that doesn't readily have that great cuisine with all of those delicious spices. Shopping friends who just always need to buy something in every city, there are a lot of really cute Arabic culture type items, beautiful tapestries, great little books that are bound with either beautiful leather or bound with beautiful kind of handcrafted emblems, very, very pretty gifts. There's also ceramics. Granada is known for its ceramics trade. But I would say that in the vintage category, which you guys know I've recently been excited about, I would prefer Seville on that side of things. That said, there is something so wonderful about just strolling through the streets, especially of Albaycin. On the vibe of the city, Granada has just a very chill, charming vibe, in my opinion. It's going to be great for single folks that are doing the backpacker thing, or even the modified, more luxe backpacker thing, digital nomad thing, because there's plenty to see and there's plenty to do, and there are definitely ways to meet other people if you wish to. If you're here on a romantic trip, there's a countless number of options there, because literally up in those areas are gorgeous restaurants, candlelit dinner overlooking this gorgeous castle. So there's that. Or, my LGBTQ friends, there's lots of great nightlife for that as well. There's a very strong community here in Granada. There's really something for everyone. I think you should just come. Now, there are a few different ways to get to Granada, but really, if it involves a train, I agree. If it doesn't, I have mixed feelings. You can take a flight into Malaga from Madrid and then take a car from Malaga to get to Granada, which is somewhat direct, and you can take a bus as well. But if you're flying international into Madrid and then you think that a car service is the best way to get you to Granada, I would at least consider the train, because there's just an efficiency to it, and you may or may not be comfortable driving on the unique roads that Spain has to offer. They're really tiny. That said, if you're accustomed to driving on those tiny roads and you have a little bit more time, the surrounding area of Granada is gorgeous. There's Ronda, you could drive to Cordoba, you could drive to Sevilla. They're not far, but even then you could also just take the train to those places and you might find yourself just as happy. And that's really it for me on Granada. I hope I didn't miss too much. I know people really fall in love with the city, so if there is a tip or something that you want to let the world know about, stick it in the comments. I'd be thrilled if this is something that can be helpful to others planning their trip.